Hey everyone, and welcome to the Shazam watch party. I'm Roxy Striar, and like most of you, I'm here because I am a massive DC lover. I'm an uber nerd girl, but also I was a big sister when I was younger, and I absolutely love that we are here talking all things nerd for a great cause. For those of you who don't know, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ventura County is just one agency of hundreds across the country under Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. BBSVC works with youth who are facing adversity, and they have a mission of building and professionally supporting one-to-one mentoring relationships to ignite the biggest possible future for youth. Who wouldn't want that? Mentors help the youth with school, exploring careers, hobbies, and interests, and possibly most importantly, by being consistent, reliable, and trusted friends. Plus, mentors end up learning a lot about life from their mentees as well. Trust me, I would know. During COVID-19, BBSVC has provided virtual mentoring opportunities in order to keep kids connected. 2020 has been an extremely challenging year for everyone, which I don't need to tell you guys, and it's caused a lot of youth in Ventura County and across the country and frankly around the world to feel disconnected and powerless. So tonight, BBSVC is hosting a Shazam watch party as a way to bring us together, have a little fun, and encourage us all to find the potential inside ourselves. The potential to be mentors, to be youth leaders, and to take part in building our communities. And because it seems kind of too perfect not to, BBSVC youth mentoring programs are more than just about mentoring. They support youth in the juvenile justice system by providing youth alternatives to incarceration. They started the country's first Big Brothers Big Sisters foster youth mentoring program, and they're always matching youth who are facing adversity with mentors who recognize that young people already have great potential within them. Quick question, do these things sound familiar to you guys? That's because that's exactly what we see in Shazam. With the themes of this film and Zachary Levi's connection to Ventura County, so he was born in Louisiana, but his family put their roots down in Ventura County, it's easy to see why this virtual watch party makes perfect sense. This event is free, but if you are willing and able to donate a few dollars to the organization to support youth mentoring, please do so. You can do that right here via Facebook or bbsvc.org/donate. That's bbsvc.org/donate. Without further ado, let's welcome our very own superhero, Zachary Levi in the house.
Hey, what's happening?
This is the power stance? Is this what we have to do when we come onto a Zoom? Hey!
You always just give the hero flex. That's always they tell you this in superhero training.
That's actually really annoying because you just hero flex and like totally had the flex to do it. Is part of your COVID quarantine routine just like staying ripped right now?
Kind of. I mean, I'm 40 and I'm trying to just stay as healthy and as strong as I can for the rest of my life. But also, Shazam Dose, which I was really hoping was going to be called Shazam 2 Electric Boogaloo. But instead also has its own really cool title, which is Shazam Fury of the Gods. I can't wait. We're supposed to make that kind of early in the next year. So I'm just getting a head start on staying in shape, for that and some other things that I'm working on.
Well, what does a day in the life of Zachary Levi look like during the shutdown right now? Like, what does it look like to be you?
I don't know. I mean, kind of slowly losing my mind a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I think that a global pandemic, interestingly enough, is a great equalizer. I think that it is not entirely, but in some ways, I think it's really attacking all of us mentally and emotionally. Like you can't really escape from a lot of just the intensity and the gnarliness that comes along with that. And Hollywood's been shut down, which is kind of my job, and I've been sitting around with no job, and like a lot of Americans and a lot of people around the world, and that makes you really question a lot of things about yourself, and it forces you to go inward. And so a daily routine for me is, I'll try and do some cardio or go to the gym, try to eat right, also talk to a therapist at least once a week, just trying to maintain the healthiest person, the healthiest Zach that I can be, and that requires, heart, mind, body, and soul, and all that stuff. Which is one of the reasons why I think tonight is so awesome, because, like you were saying, the parallels between Shazam and Big Brothers Big Sisters are kind of like amazing. I think, and the fact that obviously Ventura is my hometown, and Ventura County is my home county, and yes, I was randomly born in Louisiana, but I popped out when my dad was working there, and I happened to pop out when he was working in Louisiana. Lots of love for Louisiana, by the way. But Ventura is my hometown, and so this was also fitting. But I think that even more, like, I'm going through this journey in my life right now where I actually got to go to a few Big Brothers Big Sisters events because I was invited through my friend Sally, who used to work with the organization there. And little did I know that when I was a young boy, I could have used a big brother so much. I didn't, and only now, as I'm an older man, do I realize how much I didn't have a good older male influence in my life, almost all of my life. And at 40, I'm starting to see all of the effects of that, which is really fascinating. And so I cannot urge everyone out there that's watching this. I hope that, thank you, by the way, for tuning in. Number one. Number two, if you haven't seen the movie already, you're in for a treat. If you have seen the movie already, you know the treat you're in for. But I would just encourage everybody out there, if you can, donate. Help these guys connect young minds and young hearts to mentors that will help them see the worth in their young minds and young hearts. Help these wonderful people in this wonderful organization accomplish that goal. It is so worth it. It's, in fact, in some ways it's really selfish, because you're just making better humans to then live in this world around you, right? Like, let's go and just be really selfish and go make everybody else great so that we can enjoy all of that. Let's do that. So go give.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America should change their slogan now to be selfish, help yourself by helping others. Like, that is what the move is. You talk a lot about mentorship, though, and you kind of mentioned you didn't really have that mentorship growing up. Yeah. Did you never had a mentor at any point, either in your career?
No, I didn't know. I mean, like I said, I mean, just recently, it dawned on me the irony of that. I went to a couple of these Big Brothers Big Sisters events when I was a kid, just kind of observing and helping out because of the friend of our families. But wow, after all the therapy I've now gone to, the less amount of mentoring you get when you're a child, the more amount of therapy you'll have to get when you are older. I think that's a given, And now ironically, I have a mentor. I have a guy who's in his mid 50s who is a successful business person who can give me some advice about things. I mean, you're never too old for a mentor. You're never too old for somebody to help you to understand a little bit more about yourself and a little bit more about the world and a little bit more about how you can best fit into that world. And what an incredible thing that we can do to offer kids that don't have that don't have a big brother or big sister, to have somebody just pour that into them, because maybe their single parent doesn't have the time or the ability to be able to pour that into that child. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I'm grateful that even though I didn't have that early in life, I had enough people around me, maybe like kind of, casual mentors, somebody that would be in my life for a moment and kind of help me to understand some things, as we all do. But I was able to track through and ultimately land here on this laptop talking about this great cause, and all because I got to be a superhero, so it's pretty fun.
Well, that's kind of the amazing thing, because despite never having a mentor, at least not until now, you have kind of become this mentor. And we see that in the movie. We see you take on this strange mentorship role with Freddie. And I'm curious, behind the scenes, were you kind of this role model for Jack Dylan Grazer, or were you more of like a terrible influence? I've heard some stories about you on the set from the kids. I know
terrible influence. I was a wholesome.
Oh, they say you're a great
wholesome, loving, encouraging, wise child of a mentor. No, I don't. Well, actually, in the movie, his character is more mentoring me than I'm mentoring him.
Yeah, a little bit.
In some ways, I guess we kind of mentor each other a little bit, but he's more, because I don't know anything about being a superhero. He knows everything about being a superhero. So there's that. But No, on set, I mean, I don't know. I saw so much of myself in those kids, particularly Jack, but maybe that's just because he and I got to work together so often. Asher and I never got to work together at all because we played the same character. But Jack is just, all those kids are so talented. Jack completely reminds me of me when I was a kid, just wiry and no off switch and just, super silly and fun. And we would ad lib and do all kinds of stuff in those scenes. Like it was a lot of fun. But I definitely felt, a responsibility for him and for all the kids, and still do. I think that Hollywood can be an amazing place. It can be a terrifying place. It can be a very scary and difficult place to navigate, particularly, if you're younger. And I was grateful that I didn't really start in the business until I was 18, which is a very, very, the youngest adult that you can be, but still an adult. And these kids are coming in at much younger ages. And I just see all of the beauty in their little hearts and souls and all their talent. And I know that if not guided and protected in the right ways, which I think all their parents are doing a bang up job so far, they're doing the best they can. And I think the more I get to be a big brother to them, literally. I mean, that's how I kind of see it. That's how I feel like I'm their Uncle Zach or, big brother Zach or whatever. And I love that. I love that I feel a responsibility to at least being a buffer and encourager for them to, walk on their own 2 feet toward the best life that they can go live.
It's not just those kids, though, that are looking at you like this hero now, because yes, they get to be on set with you and look at Uncle Zach or whatever they do call you, but it's kids all over the place. And obviously it's a huge deal for you to be somebody who's trying to teach them to be kind of their own hero. What is that like when you're going around to all the conventions and everywhere you are? How are you encouraging the youth today? What are you saying to them?
Oh man. I mean,
start. Oh man.
oh man. Oh man. With a big eye roll on the side. They're like, what am I? No. No, I mean, the truth is I tell them the same thing that I have to tell myself daily, which is go love yourself. You have got to love yourself. That is the number one job for you. And we can all hope that our parents or our family, immediate family, extended family, community loves us and has enough time and energy to show us how much they love us, to the extent that it helps us to fully feel that love within us. But we have to do it. That is a lesson that I wish I would have been taught early on in my life. That I am completely lovable and worthy of loving myself, and then taught how to actively take care of myself and value myself, my body, my heart, my mind. What is important in life and what is not important, like how addicted we all are to these things now, and how unimportant so much of this experience is, guys. It's I not to not to take a tangent, but that's the kind of stuff that I try to instill in not even just the minds of the youth of America that I meet at conventions or elsewhere, but other adults and myself included. I try to remind myself, like, hey man, where's real life? And are you valuing yourself? Are you loving yourself? Because if you can truly love yourself, then you can truly love other people. We can have grace and compassion and kindness and patience and all of the things that we need more of, that are counter to all of too many of the bad things that are going on in the world right now. So yeah, I don't think that we've done a good job, or that generations past have done a good job, because they didn't know. It's not their fault. They didn't know, but they didn't know what it meant to really love themselves and encourage their own kin, their own offspring to love themselves. And I think it's kind of, priority one, and something I still struggle with on a daily level. So, yeah.
You and me both. And I think it's a beautiful way of looking at it. And I know you just told me exactly not to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because you waved your phone at us. And yes, it is not important, but I did see, is the background of your phone Shazam? We were looking.
No, it's actually a little picture of me when I was probably 4 or something like that.
Is that part of the love yourself process? Like, look at little.
Yeah. So in one of my therapy sessions, or probably a couple, I don't know. And I've probably even had friends say the same thing, but there's something that's very powerful as they've gone, done a lot of studies on this stuff. There's something very powerful about in order to love yourself, your inner child, because there's so much reality and truth to this stuff. But in order to do that, if you can actually visualize it, if you can look at a picture, and they said, put a picture in your wallet. And I was like, I don't even have I don't really carry a wallet very much anymore. And if I do, I don't have a place for pictures in it. That's not even a thing.
Right.
So I was like, how am I going to carry a picture of my young self in my wallet? What's the alternative? I was like, oh, I'll just make it my screen on my phone. And so I tried to use that as a reminder to, that little boy's in me and he deserves to be loved. Yeah. Because I just, I forget to sometimes. Yeah.
Well, okay, pivoting for a second because I just noticed that little Easter egg, and I am curious because I did say I'm a massive DC fangirl and nerd, and I'm wondering if there are any Easter eggs from the first Shazam that you feel like nobody has picked up on yet. Is there anything that you think that we've all missed and you're just waiting for the other foot to drop? You suckers, you never saw it.
I don't think so. I don't know. I know David put a bunch of Easter eggs. Our director, David F. Sandberg, put a bunch of little visual Easter eggs in there. But I think nowadays, with the internet, there's no stone left unturned. There is an army of nerds that are ready to unpack that movie, and like frame by frame. So,
but it's so true.
So I don't know that there's anything that's left to be discovered. I would say, most people, they see there's a couple different references to Big in the movie. Some of them are quite overt, like, the piano in the toy store, obviously. But there's another when I'm like trying to shoot lasers from my eyes or something. I can't remember. It was one of the tests, and I am trying to make a can move or something, and it doesn't move, and then I kind of shoot it with a little lightning. That was supposed to be reminiscent a little bit also of Big when they're shooting the silly string out of their mouth and whatnot. That was another little homage.
Not too bad.
I don't know that I've seen anybody talk about or write about, but it's also it's a little obscure. But that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, well, if you didn't catch that one, guys, now you know. You talked a lot about your inner child kind of today, and something that I always was wondering when I'm watching Shazam, because I'm obsessed with this movie and I think you just did such an amazing job, is how you portray Billy realistically and not just looking like an adult impersonating a 14-year-old kid. Like, that's such a fine line to walk. How did you figure out how to be Zachary Levi being Billy, being this grown-up dude?
Yeah, it's there's layers to it. It's like an Outback bloomin' onion, just so many layers. So to be perfectly honest, I think that there's an essence to all of us. We all have a very unique and individual essence about us, and for better or for worse, I have had a childlikeness about me that I think worked in my favor in getting this job. I think that, and I don't know that it's necessarily naivete, because I know that I'm not that, and I can be pretty jaded about things, but I don't know if it's a silliness or an ability to be silly, even though I have all of my own self-consciousness going on at the same time. I don't know what it is. I've just always felt very in tune, at least, or I can tap into being in tune with the kid in me that never really grew up and was like, oh my God, I just want to do all the fun stuff. Like that guy, like that kid. And because I also grew up reading tons of comic books and playing all the video games, and it's very much my wheelhouse. It's very much a thing of like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
You do. So I just tried to tap into that. I just kept going to like, what would 13-year-old, in the thick of my comic book reading, like 11, 12, 13-year-old Zach, how would he be reacting to this moment right now? And then just try to channel that as much as I could, And then also, I don't know. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be an actor for a while now, and work on my craft and just try to analyze the character legitimately and be like, well, how would he be like? What would he be like? He's kind of like a moody preteen or a teen or whatever. And like they're in this school and like how do they even talk to each other? And like is the third word out of their mouth every time or whatever it is, just trying to be like woke, you know what I mean? Like like I don't even know. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next movie because in the next movie the kids are a little bit older, so now I got to change my performance a little bit to kind of be a little bit more like what Asher will now be like a couple years later. So I don't know, it'll be interesting, but I just think, look, the movie itself is about wish fulfillment and joy and heart. Like and what I try to do as best I can is I look at the script and the story and I go, okay, this is what the game plan is, this is what the blueprint is, this is what we're trying to accomplish. And then I try to give a performance that not just fits into whatever that that blueprint, but also amplifies it. It goes, okay, well then let's bring as much wish fulfillment, joy, heart, humor as we can and support it with the character that I play as best I can, without hopefully, jumping a shark and making it goofy and people are like, well, forget it, I'm out,
I think you perfectly nailed it. And so do the people out there because we are doing a live Q&A now and questions are pouring in from you guys in the Facebook. We're so happy to talk about some of these. The first question coming in from Matthew. Interesting question here. Matthew wants to know how involved was The Rock in this movie? I feel like The Rock's got his hand in all the cookie jars, but obviously part of the DC fam. How involved was it?
Yeah, well, The Rock was brought on early into the Shazam world because they cast him as Black Adam 5 years before we ever made Shazam. Originally, I think they were trying to, because Black Adam is a spin-off of the Shazam universe, right? Black Adam is the antithesis, the yin to Shazam's yang, or Captain Marvel is actually Shazam's real name, but they were like Black Adam was my bizarro version, the dark Shazam. And so he was cast as Black Adam. They were trying to make that movie, and then over the course of those 5 years, he just became just a bigger and bigger and bigger star. And they were like, we just need to do a standalone Black Adam movie. So that's what they're doing. But he and his company were still involved in some of the development of the earlier script, and so they remained on as executive producers and were very kind after the movie came out and gave us kudos and stuff, but that's about as involved as I know. Yeah.
Also coming in from Kiki wants to know, what was the scariest stunt you did during filming? Do you do any of your own stunts or?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love doing all my own stunts.
Yeah.
I mean, I like doing all the stunts they'll let me do. There's plenty that they don't let you do because they're like, hey, there's way too
the face.
Yeah, you got to protect the face. No, there's a possibility that you could get hurt in this, and then there's also like, and even if it's not like something goes wrong, like you're gonna end up having to do this thing, 5-6 times, and you're just gonna get beat up. You're not gonna want to have to do that and then try to get to work tomorrow, and like that. They try to protect you as best they can. I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment, so. I really I don't know, that's the kind of stuff that you don't really normally get to do. Like as an actor, you get to play all different types of characters, but not all the characters get to go fly. So as uncomfortable as those harnesses were, and let me tell you something, they are uncomfortable.
Oh boy.
But it's like, it's a kind of it's a price you pay to be able to be like, yeah, I was up there. I was up in that harness 40 feet off the ground and flailing around and trying to figure out as I'm, pummeling, flying to the ground. Oh my God, left arm, right arm, which arm is it? Like all that stuff. Like I wanted to make sure that I gave as much of that, as much of me into all of that as I could. So yeah. And so my favorite, or what was the scariest? The scariest stunt was, I don't know. I mean, I don't really get scared with stunts because I trust my stunt team. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
He's afraid of nothing. He's a real hero.
No, it just, you just know that you're protected. It's not like, it doesn't feel like there's a big element of risk, but
okay.
I would say the ones that I enjoyed the least were the ones where I was, in a harness, they're just not. They're like a diaper that you don't want to be wearing.
Oof, not a good visual.
Yeah.
I love this question coming in from Ariana, because usually I'm sure you're asked what power you want to have the most, but this question is, what's a superpower you would hate having?
Like flatulence, man. I would hate that.
Oh,
Basically,
oh,
everywhere I went, I just smelled like rotten eggs.
didn't know that was a superpower. Don't want to know any more about that.
That'd be bad. That'd be bad. Although, if you were really trying to clear a room of bad guys, you just like stand in there, like
Okay,
I'm flatulence, man.
it would work with
Oh,
me.
man, get out! Run for your lives!
This question is coming in from Mila, who is a 5-year-old, which is amazing. Who wants to know? Did you ever meet the real Rapunzel?
Did I ever meet the real Rapunzel? Of course, Mandy Moore is the real Rapunzel, and I've met her many times. She's a dear friend of mine.
Fair question, Mila. Fair question. One coming in from Joran. Joran says, if it's Shazam versus Stormfront, would Shazam topple the tiny Nazi? Is that
That's from The Boys. Yeah, that's from The Boys. Yeah.
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 Are you watching?
Fortunately, I'm a big The Boys fan.
You
It's
too.
not for children. This television show is not for children.
No, Mila, cover your ears.
Throwing that out there. But no, Shazam would dust her.
You think?
Dust her. Yeah.
I don't know. She's intense. Have you seen the finale? No spoilers, but oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. And by the way, Aya Cash was fantastic in that role too.
Incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
They all are.
The show is fantastic, but not for kids.
Definitely agree with that. Michelle in here is saying, or wants to know, do you ever consider speaking at schools? You are an inspiration and amazing role model.
Well, bless your heart. I appreciate that. And I have thought of speaking at schools, and I have spoken at school. I spoke at one high school before COVID and everything. But I work with an incredible organization called Active Minds. They are just wonderful people that are essentially providing mental health education and resources for everyone on high school and college campuses all over the United States. That's students, also teachers and faculty. I just think it's the most important thing that we need to be talking about is mental and emotional well-being, and particularly in the hearts and minds of students of varying ages. But I think high school and college is when, people are really starting to kind of become their own person. They are starting to have their own thoughts, and to be able to give them the tools and equipment necessary to then take that newfound independent thinking and really firm it up with truth about who they are and what the world is and how they fit into it in that moment, I think is a really beautiful thing. So to that extent, I have gone and spoken to a high school here in Austin, Texas, but I have not really spoken to any others. I look forward to the day when I get to speak at more schools, and hopefully I'll have something of worth to say to them when I do.
I like the expression "firm it up." We're gonna, firm it up. That's what we do.
Yeah.
This one's coming in from Therese, and by the way, at home, guys, these are amazing. Thank you for all these questions. Therese wants to know, what is your takeaway from Shazam?
Ooh.
Probably tough to pin one.
I don't know. I mean, I have so many takeaways from Shazam, but I would say that one of the takeaways is that people need joy, and they need warmth, and they need heart, and I witness that when people watch the movie and they walk away from the movie feeling better, a little bit better, with a little more pep in their step than when they went into the theater. And so while I'm grateful that we were able to accomplish a lot of that in the movie, I think one of the big takeaways that I took from it was that's more real than I think we give it credit for. And I think it's part of the reason why we are in the kind of strange predicament that we're in right now. It's just a very strange time in the world where there are so few things that we can do to elicit joy and in our lives, and joy is a beautiful salve, a balm, if you will, on our individual and collective souls. And that's why I think entertainment and art are so important. That's definitely a takeaway. But I also, just on a personal level, I took away feeling loved, feeling God's love, if I can be so bold as to say that. I just prior to booking that movie was in a really dark place in my life and didn't it's struggling a lot liking or loving myself or accepting myself, and went to life changing / life saving therapy. And on the heels of that therapy and some really incredible changes that took place in my life and my ability to start loving myself maybe for the first time, I booked this movie, and that really felt like this was God saying yes. Like in the same way that, I'm not even kidding, I didn't feel qualified for this movie at all. And I didn't think it was supposed to happen. I didn't think it would happen. And then very, very similarly, in the way that the wizard Shazam sees in Billy something that even Billy doesn't see in himself, and blesses him with this incredible power and trusts him with this power. I felt God saying, Zach, I see all in you that I have put in you, and you might not see it in you, but I see it in you, and I want you to go, and it was just an incredible gift to be able to be given this role and this opportunity. Was just an amazing gift, and one that I did not feel worthy of prior. And even really during, I even still, I go like, wow, I can't believe that this gets to be me, that this is my life. So I feel very loved. Sure, family and friends and fans and all that stuff, that's all, I feel that love too, but I felt the love of God or the universe, however you might want to frame it. But and that was a really cool takeaway, I think.
I feel like you just described it as a gift for you, but I think that it was a gift for all of us to be able to see Shazam and watch you shine in it. And it really is such a beautiful movie. So I think that's a perfect place to let you go. Zachary Levi, our own superhero in here. Zach, thank you so much for joining us and for taking questions from the people at home. Really appreciate having you. And can't wait until Electric Boogaloo. That's what we're calling it now.
Yeah, Shazam 2 Electric Boogaloo.
We've officially made it. Thank you, Zachary Levi. Thank you so
much, Roxy. You're awesome. Thank you for being such an awesome host. And everybody, enjoy the movie. If like I said, if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. If you have seen it, you know exactly why you're here. Love to you all. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. You're worthy of that love. You're worthy of that love. All right.
Guys, clip that out. Play that.
I'm going to go bye-bye.
Over and over. Thank you so much to Zachary Levi. How freaking amazing is he? And thank you guys to the Watch Party champions who have donated some great prizes for the Watch Party contests, Entertainment Earth, Arsenal Comics and Games, Sugarwish, and everyone else who helped to put this awesome event together. If you're having fun tonight participating in the Watch Party and contest, then just consider making a donation to BBSVC. You can do it right here through Facebook. So you're already on Facebook. You're already here, guys. You can do it. And also donate at bbsvc.org/donate. You could also sign up to volunteer and be a mentor in your community, which would be an amazing thing to do as well. And if you're going to be watching the film, make sure you check in on social media. You can use the hashtag Shazam and hashtag KeepKidsConnected. If you are watching the movie, you can watch it on HBO Max. You can get it on YouTube or iTunes. It's just $3.99. Best $3.99 you'll ever spend. Or if you already RSVP'd, if you did that via the text message, you might have been one of the lucky participants who won a Google Play card to download the film. No, you do not need to watch the movie to participate, although I highly recommend it because it's an incredible film. And also it might help you get an advantage in the contest. Just text Shazam to 91999. I wrote it on my hand to help me remember, 91999. Text Shazam and enjoy watching the movie. Have fun and good luck to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And one final thank you to Zachary Levi for joining us. to help raise a ton of money for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Ventura County. We love you guys a lot. Stay safe, stay healthy, and please give if you can.